So, ever since I was a kid, I had an interest in viruses. My favourite was the bacteriophage virus. Phage virus. I'll draw a little picture of this and get close. You see, he has a little head like a diamond. You see that? And little kind of legs. And what this guy does, he floats around. If you catch this virus, he floats around in the bloodstream until it finds a cell. So this is a blood cell. And then what happens is these little feet, they're quite sharp, so they dig into the cell. And the virus gets stuck. And then a little drill comes out of the head, drills into the cell. And inside the virus's head, there's some DNA. So what this virus does is injects the DNA through the drill into the cell, and this DNA effectively reprograms the cell. And then what it does, it turns the cell into effectively a factory to make new viruses. It's so cool. And then the little virus pieces pop out of the side. The little legs and the head of new virus bodies pop out, and they float into inner space, and they self-assemble to make new viruses. I mean, I love the idea, firstly, of a self-assembling life form. I know there are discussions about whether a virus is technically a life form, but I think the boundary between life and automaton is a lot more blurred than we currently understand it. So, obviously, after this point, the cell is dead. It's a barren rock, and these guys, they fly off and find new cells to create new viruses. Yay! And obviously, the ultimate tragedy of this is if they can infect enough cells in a body, then the body will die, and then the virus will have nowhere to live. It's a lose-lose situation. It's fascinating. It's a kind of mini discourse on the futility of all things. And I know I'm kind of plagiarizing Agent Smith here when he famously compared humanity to a virus, but I think he was kind of onto something. You see, I've always felt like planet Earth. Let's draw planet Earth. And here's Great Britain. There's Ireland, and there's some other stuff as well. Planet Earth. Let's imagine this is our host, and we, the monkeys, we're a bit like the virus, right? We're a bit like the virus. We're just like the virus reprograms the cell and exploits the cell's materials and resources to create new components for new viruses. It's a bit like what we're doing with the Earth, you know? We're smashing it to pieces, exploiting every single aspect that we can. We think we're doing it for purposes of consumption. That's what we're all about. We're like, really would like to consume a wooden chair. But obviously, to consume a wooden chair, we have to chop down some trees and, use some natural resources to transport the trees, and maybe use some minerals to create axes to chop the trees. And there's just a hell of a lot of consumption involved. Just for breakfast, I opened a tin of beans. How much consumption was involved in that tin? The metal, the paper around the label, the ink on the paper around the label, like the pigment in the ink, the transport for the inks, the transport for the paper, the transport for the metal, whatever process or processes are involved in, like planting and growing the beans. It's fantastic, and that was just breakfast, By the end of today, I will have consumed a hell of a lot of planet Earth, And I'm kind of a conscious consumer, you know. I get organic beans. Jesus. So, this is not about beans, by the way. This is not some kind of bean-related video. We think we have our own kind of little agenda, and you know, our whole lives, our whole kind of communal system that keeps everything running is based on, the economy is based on growth, which is based on consumption. You know, if we don't consume, then everything falls on its face. Everything is set up just to perpetuate this cycle. And ultimately, I think our consumption is about, it's not just consumption for consumption's sake. This consumption does a couple of useful things for our species. Firstly, it makes, I think it makes an environment suitable for repopulating and multiplying ourselves. I mean, if we look at, I think the subduing of the natural world has allowed our species to grow phenomenally. I'm just looking at some population statistics. In the year 1800, there were 1 billion people on the planet. Okay, so now there's like 7 billion people. In 2083, according to Wikipedia, there's a projected 10 billion people on the planet. Okay, nobody on this planet, no human is fucking smart enough to be like, oh yes, 1 billion to 7 billion, that's no problem. It's all about how we share the resources. I mean, in my lifetime, an extra billion people, or 1.5 billion people, have fucking migrated to this planet. Nobody can say, oh, there's plenty of room for everyone. We cannot conceive these numbers. We're designed to fucking pot around and maybe eat fruit and perhaps the occasional insect. We're designed to scratch our bums with sticks. Nobody knows what the consequences of this fucking mass immigration to planet Earth is gonna be. I mean, we can take a guess. We sure as shit shouldn't be eating animals, I can tell you that much. I recently heard there were more pigs in Cambridge than there are people. I know I'm digressing. More pigs in Cambridge than there are people. Where the fuck are they? Where are all the pigs? I tell you where they are. They're in concentration camps, right on our doorsteps. Anyway, let's move on. All these monkeys on planet Earth, digging away its resources, repopulating at a phenomenal rate. Just like the virus sends new components into space, we're spawning all these monkeys. And not only that, but something else really interesting is happening, and it's a result of our consumption and need for consumption. We're getting technologically advanced, and that leads to something very interesting, you see. Something that I think possibly could have been part of the master plan of our species to begin with, or the purpose of our species to begin with. You see, we're starting to develop things like rockets. It's quite a shit rocket, isn't it? When I was a kid, when you draw a rocket, you always have to draw the words USA on the side. USA. We're developing rockets. I know space technology at the moment is a bit crap, right? But it's getting better. And it's going to get a lot better as this place, the planet, gets a lot shitter. I mean, it's already quite shit, let's be honest. There's fucking radioactive nuclear waste everywhere. Nobody knows what to do with it. Bloody nuclear waste all over the planet. Nature has been reduced. Nature itself has been subdued and reduced to a few pieces of grass sticking through the bloody pavement. Most people live in cities, which are fucking disgusting. In London last year, the pollution got so bad I could hardly go out of the house. It was horrendous. I wrote to my MP and told him, why don't you become an environmental activist instead of spending your time campaigning to get a street named after Margaret fucking Thatcher. Idiot. So anyway, the planet's a bit shit now, but let me tell you, it's going to get a lot shitter. In my lifetime, this place is going to get very, very shit. You know, I'm talking resource wars, I'm talking a rich-poor divide not previously seen. We already have islands made entirely of rubbish where people actually live. So my point is, as every science fiction fan knows, once this place starts getting very shit, this technology starts getting very good. And people like Richard Branson are not going to want to stay here. Once we have swirling death mists consuming everything in their path, these people, they're going to want to go out here in the stars and find new hosts to infect, just like a phage virus. And then this planet will die and become nothing more than a radioactive rock. These people are going to infect new planets, populate them, create more monkeys, more rockets, fly off into space, and ultimately infect the whole bloody universe. And maybe the universe has some kind of self-defense mechanism, you know? Maybe the universe has been eating its 5 a day and has some method of wiping us out before we kill the whole bloody thing. Seriously, I don't know if you could kill the universe, but you could make the universe very shit. I can imagine right now there are planets where happy animals live, chewing grass and basking in the sun. Little do they know what's gonna happen when we fucking get to them. Oh yes! Mad Max is the future. It's gonna happen. The end.